my god. I'm gonna at least record this one. YouTube. So, something I had to do. Oh my god. Something I had to do for the first time was basically not even the first time. This is the second time I've had to do this. The first time I did this was for Protect. This is the second time I had to skip an album. Now, I was very lenient and I was trying, okay? I was trying my hardest. I was about 8 tracks in, but towards that eighth track, I just got bored. I couldn't vibe anymore, right? And overall, my consensus of the album was that it was just pretty mid. It was mid. It wasn't bad, like the worst thing that Jack Harlow could ever produce, but it wasn't like it didn't move me, right? Like if I didn't do album reactions and like react to stuff for entertainment purposes and for clips, I would not have tuned into this album. I almost didn't tune into this album. I was kind of told by a couple of my friends, check the album out. I want to know what you think. I think it's butt. Okay, I'll be fair. I think it's mid. It's not butt, but you couldn't pay me to come back to this album. So instead of me doing a whole video reaction and uploading that failure of a reaction, I'm going to be reacting to Sean C break down his problem with Jack Harlow. Because like a lot of people have basically been shitting on this album, right? And I wanted to see what the hate is for. And I could kind of see it, right? He's doing a bit of a rebrand in his sound from like the white boy urban, not urban, but like the white boy who's cool with the black kids sort of guy to basically now just being a neo soul damn near backpack kid sort of guy. And I don't think it's a good match. I don't think it's a good pivot, especially since like the music itself isn't really captivating at all, to be entirely honest. Like the music itself is mid. So it doesn't really move me that you're making this change because nothing changed musically. But we're going to see what Sean C has to say, and we're going to also, give our opinion.
Within the next 7 to 10 minutes, I'm going to hopefully find the words necessary to explain my disdain for Jack Harlow, the artist. This is not a hate video, okay? Right. Contrary to popular belief.
Not a hate video either, okay? I do not hate Jack Harlow. Let's get that out the way. For anybody who's going to see this clip on TikTok or whatever the case is, I don't hate Jack Harlow. But I don't like him either.
That is not what this is about. I actually want to commend Jack Harlow for being such a likable guy despite his mediocrity since his infancy. I want it to be known.
Right, you can tell it took him a lot to not just say he's ass in that sentence.
Known that before you listen to my words, I have not liked anything Jack Harlow. If his name is in front of it, I'm out of the door. If I see his face, I'm turning around. If he speaks, I am deaf. If he is in front of me, I am blind. Before I move forward, I need to let you know, Monica, trash. White Folks Association and hip.
Okay, it's not trash, but it's definitely not like an album I would ever go back to. I feel like for the right people, it might be okay. But to me, it was mid. It wasn't as like I could enjoy the beats.
Hip-hop always reminds me of the black love interest trope. I'm sure we've all had a TV show that we watched when we were growing up that featured a black love interest in an all-white cast. And typically with no greater understanding of the character beyond we're inclusive and we're progressive because here's a black co-star or a black regular that's heavily associated with our protagonist. Any understanding or contextualization of how this black character fits within the world outside of the context of just being the partner to the white protagonist is never explored. They typically exist not as trophies, but as check marks. A green light to the production team signaling At least we got to that. This does not mean that I want Jack Harlow to start going over the intricacies of where black music came from and how black people came to dominate said genre or whatever the case may be. I just find it funny how many non-black people have this phase with black culture. This slight infatuation, whether authentic or not, that typically ends with the non-black individual receiving some level of praise or acknowledgement for even including this within their story. This might be funny at first until you realize that this is a white boy releasing an R&B centric album named Monica. Jack Harlow's consumed enough black culture to
I don't know if I don't know. I just kind of found it as a coincidence. That would be crazy if that's the whole reason why he named it that album, but I'm not going to be that type of person to be like that's the whole reason why he named it. Like, I don't know. I just thought I mean, I guess
know the look of the thing that he's emulating on this album.
Damn.
From the clothing, the
Thank
gloomy
you.
atmosphere. He tries to set up a stage of intimacy here all throughout the project. And while I don't necessarily need him to be a master of this sound, I do need him to have a little bit more respect than to come off as someone who maybe watched Love Jones for the first time and is obsessed with the movie now. And everything Jack Harlow does comes off as cheap imitation or off-brand. And you can get away with that lack of genuine connection and soul when it comes to hip-hop music because it's easier to cosplay. Hip-hop has a majority white audience. It's consumed by a lot of white people. The barking that you're going to get is more than likely going to be from purists or people who really, really love the genre. This isn't to say white people don't enjoy hip-hop to a point where they could be considered purists either. I'm just saying due to how much white people dominate the general fan base of hip-hop, the worst hip-hop fan you know is more than likely a white guy. Before that Come Home the Kids Miss You album, Jack Harlow was praised as everything but the second coming of Nas, getting high praise and much support from some very
there's no way people were really praising Jack Harlow. I always found his music to just be sort of mid. Like, as someone who makes music and makes all types of music and can appreciate anything from music, I wouldn't say it's trash, but I do see his point of the music feeling like it's a imitation or um like a cheap knockoff off-brand version of that kind of did feel like this album. But as somebody who's poor or someone who's broke, I don't usually mind off-brand anything. But on a serious note, though, I do see his point, and I do feel that way. It did feel like this album was just kind of like an imitation of neo soul versus it actually being like there was no soul in it. That's probably what didn't move me. The fact that like I could familiar I could hear the familiar things in this album that I would usually like from somebody else, but I'm missing the essence of it. I'm missing the soul behind it.
respected voices in music off the back of songs like Nail Tech and What's Poppin'. My point being that he can't get away with being mediocre in this genre the way that he did in hip hop because I believe it has a higher ceiling of respectability. When you're trying to fuse jazz and soul and R&B, the stage that you create for yourself is so much more intimate. There's almost nothing to hide behind. At one point during this interview, Jack Harlow is giving himself and being given credit for not shying away from black culture, but instead diving deeper into it, where his white contemporaries typically fall back into either country or pop music expression. Jack Harlow's remedy to his artistic confusion and potential buildup of his confidence comes from being even more brazen with his.
Is that really him? Like, is that not Photoshop? That's gotta be fake, right? Because there's no way his waves are that's fake. There's gotta be AI. His waves are not on swim like that. There's no way.
Appropriation. Jack Harlow's
This is
journey
a
throughout
funny
hip hop
image,
kind
though.
of mirrors the
I'm
average white hip hop fan. Again, I'm not saying all, but the average. A few years
Why
ago,
is
Jack
Waves
Harlow
better
was
than
given
mine?
this music quiz essentially on Hot 97 when it was still a thing. And it was during this fun little art quiz that it was revealed to us that Jack Harlow had never known that Brandy and Ray J were siblings. Now, the world at the time was kind of ragging on him for not
What?
knowing that Brandy and Ray J were siblings, and how have you never seen Moesha, and how have you never heard a Brandy album, blah, 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 blah. But in that quiz, or in that back and forth, Ebro plays Jack Harlow some legendary R&B and soul music. And I believe Jack Harlow only correctly identifies one song out of the 5 or so that he plays. In this most recent
That's not a good look, twin. That's not a good look.
interview where he claims he got blacker, he also claims to love R&B.
What? When did he? Bro, there's got to be something I'm missing, right? There's got to be something I'm missing. Like, did he did an interview with this shit?
I was joking about this earlier, but like your curls are flattened out. Like what's in the curl?
Thanks for pointing that out.
What's your curl?
You're
care?
losing your swag.
I didn't say that.
You didn't have to.
So this is apparently the interview where he said he got blacker. When did he say that though? I need the specific clip. Like, there's no way.
It is winter.
It is.
Can't talk to Jack Harlow without talking about race.
I would hope not.
I've had a version of this conversation with Post Malone,
Get our feet wet, like we were
Jelly
putting out
Roll.
mixtapes, so we were
MGK,
Pointing that bar out. That bar is
Young
cold
Lean.
work.
Came from me loving hip hop.
Eminem.
talked about it with Eminem.
Sure.
White rappers are afforded more freedom to change their genre at will. True or false?
I might have to think about that.
For what? You're gonna have to think about. They are. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. What? This nigga MGK was a rapper before he switched genres because freaking Eminem exposed him. All it took was Eminem to give him the perfect diss track, and he switched to being a rock star. No other artist is afforded that comfortability. This nigga Lil Wayne made one rock album because he kind of liked it, or maybe he was just going through a phase, and everybody hated it. Nobody liked that album. Nobody. The only artist who could actually make like a genre switch like that would probably be someone like Cardi, with how he went from ambient, like plucky and like fun, bouncy, like, you know, the Cash Cardi to punk Cardi era. But that's still within trap. That's still within the same genre. Off the top of my head, I don't think there's any artist who could really go from rap to like something way left field like any other white artist does. This nigga Kid Laroi was going on tracks talking about that little bitch a diva. Fucking leave her. My life is a movie directed by Tarantino. Now he's out here making country songs. Making pop record, not country, but pop record songs. Like, no other black artist or any other race of artists can do that. But let me hear what he's talking about.
What do you think?
I think, yeah, definitely. I think
Yeah.
there is something about being a white rapper that first puts the chip on your shoulder. And I think that that's why a lot of the people I just mentioned, maybe Post Malone especially aside, but yourself
Fuck
included,
Post Malone.
rapping your ass off is really important at the beginning.
Mm.
Like bars, like proving yourself, right?
Yes.
You could hear that in your early music.
Absolutely.
This kush hearing the gas shit I hear what the pastor saying.
And then you prove
And
yourself.
now we got
you
all this
break in,
fucking neo soul
you're
shit.
supported by all kinds of people. You've always had a diverse friend group. You grew up in a diverse place. You have a diverse team. You have a diverse
Okay,
fan
get to
base.
it.
You become accepted. And then you have we're talking about privilege, you have the ability to say, I rapped my ass off. I'm not going to do that anymore, at least for now. And radio programmers, award shows, press, like people take you seriously if you do that. If a black rapper wants to do something completely sonically adventurous, it can often be treated as a whim or something to be ignored or a joke. That's my personal feeling.
You're framing it through the lens of intent. And I also think of it often through the lens of reception and landing places. Country music, for example, has become a safe landing place for former white rappers. Rock music has become a safe landing place. These are sort of pre-existing industry structures that welcome a famous person who got famous. I see the smile. It's great to see. I think I'd like to hear your answer to Joe's question, but also then talk about what I feel is like the radical twist of what you have chosen.
I was hoping that he would say that.
Sorry.
But you're giving him the answer, the good answer.
It's the right answer, but sorry. I'll shut up now.
What John's saying is
What is your question?
You didn't retreat. I'll piggyback off what John's saying. John's saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into
I got blacker.
Black music.
Yeah.
deeper into black.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I hear it now. Yuck, bro. That's not good clips.
John's saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into
I got blacker.
Black music.
Yeah.
deeper into blackness.
Yeah.
So was that conscious? Was that a little twist on the typical move that white rappers make, which is to retreat back into traditionally white sounds?
It certainly made what I already wanted to do even more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Because you like pushing that boundary, that line?
I think I love black music. I love the sound of black
Who
music.
among us?
Yeah, I
it's
love
like-
the sound of black music.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm hyper aware of the politics of today, that safer landing spot that a lot of my white contemporaries have found. And of course, it appealed to me to do something that I felt like at a time when there's plenty of people expecting me to take some of the routes y'all are taking.
Yep.
To take the route that not only might not be expected, but is also the one I genuinely want to take. So all the stars.
Man, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Now that I see that, that made me like the album a lot less. Only because it's like, you got blacker? Did you really? Like, I know he's not talking in a literal sense. Like, they're saying that with this new album, Jack Harlow decided instead of switching up the genre to be something white, he went and makes something black, right? Instead of him switching to do country like every other rapper or every other artist would have done in his situation. Post Malone, Kid Laroi, damn near, not Justin Bieber, but a lot of different white artists and contemporaries have done in the past, not would have, but have done. He instead opted to make more music that sounds closer to blackness. And his answer to all of that is just that he likes black music. But yeah, I agree with Sean C. You can't do that. in some ironic way, Jack Harlow basically pulled the same sort of move that like a white person would have done. It's just the fact that the actual music itself isn't white music, or like, you know what I'm saying, like country, rock, pop, or anything in that sort of niche. But the move itself, the act of switching your genre to make something different because you're like, I don't really want to do rap anymore, that is still some white people shit in the end of the day, because you're the only type of artist that can make that sort of move. Like, even if it's like you didn't go to rock specifically, or you didn't go to country specifically, you having the boldness to switch from the typical trap white boy rap shit that you've been doing, which was mediocre, pretty mid, like nothing bad, but nothing great, to then now switching to mediocre neo soul, that don't make you blacker, bro. That don't make you blacker. If anything, that makes you whiter, because it shows a complete misunderstanding of the genre. Mixing jazz and hip hop and all of these different sort of soulful genres into one to create like a neo soul R&B sort of vibe. Doing that is difficult. It's not easy. And in order to really get appreciated at a higher level, it takes a lot more skill. And this album doesn't show that. I think that is really what the issue with this album is. There's nothing impressive about singing at a normal, regular voice on a bunch of neo soul beats. But Jack Harlow did it, so people are gonna like it. But if any other artist were to try and make even a similar move, this nigga J. Cole did a similar move with For Your Eyes Only, and people said that it was mid. People didn't like that album when it came out. Now they're trying to say it's like his best, and people are like appreciating it now. But when that album dropped, I remember people said that it was like the fall off, like it wasn't good. And that could also obviously be like, you know, a couple people just not liking J. Cole as an artist himself. But I remember like there are, like I said previously, a lot of other rappers that are black can't afford to make that sort of move. You don't see it that often. And it's like a rare case if you do. You know what I'm saying? Like even with artists like Lil Nas X, right? Came up, broke records with his track, Old Town Road. Switched it up, made some more like trap, but then switched it up again, and like the presentation behind him was a little bit different, even though he was still making like rap songs. He did kind of switch it up a little bit to make a little bit more pop, a little bit just more like ambiguously different sounding music, but with a whole different presentation. It costed him his career. Nobody really liked that album, or at least it was okay upon like landing, but he's in jail now, and like there's a lot of bullshit going on with him. And I say again, Lil Wayne made one rock album and never did it again. I don't think he. Let me even look up how many rock albums does Lil Wayne have. He only has one. I know he only has one. Yeah, one. The Rebirth album, 2010. That shit was trash. Lil Wayne tried to make that move, and mind you, this is Lil Wayne in 2010. Lil Wayne was still at the top of his game at that time. He was still the top. He makes that move. People didn't like it, right? People hated it. And to be honest, to be fair to those people, it was bad. It wasn't a good album, but that proves my whole point. Like, nah, man, you can't make that. You gotta like reconsider. Like, I personally wouldn't have hated the album if he actually tried to rap. You know what I'm saying? Or if he mixed a little bit of it, you know? But him just like singing at a mid voice or like a normal voice and then just like, you know what I'm saying? It's not it. That's not the vibes.